It's been a good while since I talked about Outriders here on this channel, and I thought this would serve as a really good reintroduction to the game, as well as an announcement of their announcement, which is scheduled for April 21st at the time of this recording. That would be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. This is going to be the WorldSlayer expansion, and I feel like every time you say that expansion name, you got to go WorldSlayer or get some real like Destiny or Halo vibes in terms of your PvP. But while I don't expect them to announce a PvP mode, I thought I would use this video as a way to kind of tell you guys tomorrow we're going to be talking about some Outriders, giving my thoughts on what they show with WorldSlayer. But this video is a hope of what they announce for that expansion, for the future of Outriders as a franchise. As somebody who actually really loved the game, but was still confused by how many people celebrated the fact that it wasn't a games as a service. And as a avid, games as a service player, I know I'm definitely not in the majority of that. I think essentially when you look at what Outriders did, it delivered a great story. It had great gameplay. I thoroughly jumped in and leveled multiple of the different, classes to cap, and I absolutely do not regret my experience. What I do regret is obviously how they launched, the issues with launch, the crossplay issues with launch, and that is something I think that kind of took the wind out of the sails for this game. But if you've never had the opportunity to finish it, note that they have patched it. The game is stable, and it's worth your time and attention. However, what do I want? And this is going to also kind of come as an approach as a dad. And so let's talk about that as an aspect. I love Gears of War, like absolutely. But one of the best things about that franchise is it has a mature graphics and gore toggle off mode. Now, I've got young kids, and while I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, I tend not to play over hyper violent games in front of them. I think there tends to be kind of a range, and Outriders falls into that. So first off, I know this isn't really like massive a raid or some kind of gigantic content hope. It's literally that, because I think I would play more Outriders if that was the case. The other flip side, from a systems perspective, absolutely would adore if they had cross save. They had cross play, and they had it actually launch on Xbox with I guess Game Pass as a part of that promotion, which I think brought a lot of people to check out the game as a new IP. But with all the issues with crossplay, it ended up not being something that was easily to use and get into. So I would love to see them actually bring in cross save, thus allowing me to pick up and play the game on multiple different systems, all while making the same progress. I can't undersell that enough. I think one of the things that it seems so easy on paper from an idea perspective, but I get that it's absolutely probably a nightmare to implement when it comes to those kind of savings and accounts, but I would still absolutely adore it. They knocked the gameplay out of the park. But one of the things I felt like a lot of people kind of got thrown off by was kind of the hub and spoke mindset, in which the levels are all kind of broken up into these kind of like hubs and spokes, and you go do these little quests and come back into it. So from a content perspective, I think I would love to see some form of strikes or dungeons, something in which that as players, whether you want to go out into the world, that there are these kind of more hyper end activities. We saw that kind of shift into their end game after the story, but I think you could end up seeing how they could kind of really breathe some new life into a variety of content that they could offer players. And that's bringing in the question. I don't see them shifting into a games as a service model. I think they're going to continue to hit that pretty hard, that they're not a games as a service. So what I'm going to essentially think that they're going to also talk about is what's next in the next chapter of the story. And if it does well, and this is a franchise that keeps going, I could kind of see that at least on some kind of yearly cadence, that they kind of have this expansion, and then you play through the story, and they have some kind of light end game that players can continue to participate in if they want to, and then come back for it. I think what I'm going to be looking for tomorrow more than anything else is if WorldSlayer does check off some of these boxes that I really want to jump back into it and get back into the building aspect of it. Will this end up kind of, I guess connecting in a way that I want to go finish up leveling off the classes that I haven't finished? I think it's Pyromancer is the one I didn't finish, but I'll have to go and check. It's been a little while since I've actually logged into Outriders and played. Now, I have a question for you guys. I would love to know, would you like to actually see a raid piece of content brought into WorldSlayer? I think that could be massive for the game itself. Now, the question about the raid, obviously in terms of how it's approaching, how it's balanced, what kind of rewards are there. But a raid in terms of a story-driven, piece of content like what Outriders delivered in its first, I guess, chapter, I think would be really interesting to see what that impact is outside of a games as a service game. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Feel free to, answer in the comments if you will. But yeah, now at the end of the day, I think this is kind of where I get a little bit controversial with a lot of players who just want the PvE experience. But yes, I think PvP ends up being a piece of content that can also help bridge the gap between content routes. So if you think of Outriders as this big narrative story focused game in which that you go from A to B, and so WorldSlayer delivers kind of a continuation of the story itself, and so the game evolves and grows. If they were looking to continue to have that, that kind of community that continues to play the game more and more, I think that a PvP would obviously be a natural fit. But there are games that obviously do well without it. Like you take, I guess the latest Borderlands Wonderlands version of the game, and that always seems to do really well. And I've been hearing a lot of really good things about that. So maybe there's going to be some evolution in terms of the classes, and maybe what we'll also see is a new class. We do have 6 character slots and yet 4 classes, so we could easily see a new class being revealed, or it'd be wild to see 2 new classes being revealed. But obviously we'll wait till tomorrow, see what the announcements entail, and we'll cover it here for you guys as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I thought I wanted to put my thoughts down on in video form for you guys to get your thoughts as well, and hopefully we'll be excited about what they announced with the Outriders WorldSlayer premiere tomorrow. And yeah, stay tuned guys. That's it for the video. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I'll see you in my next one, but until then, take care.
Yeah, it's time to chill out on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to Destiny. I'm off with the clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh yeah.